The loudest liar always falls apart when the quiet truth finally steps in. Standing in the middle of the mess they built out of lies. But now the spotlight isn't on you anymore. It's on them. Their fake stories are breaking apart piece by piece. The truth didn't just walk through the door, it kicked it open, holding proof, recordings, and confessions in its hands. The same people who smiled while stabbing you in the back are now shaking under the weight of secrets they swore would stay buried. And here's the best part, you didn't have to do a thing. The universe moved on its own. What most people don't get is that truth always carries more weight than lies, but it takes time for it to reach the right people. A recent study even showed something scary. Most people believe a confident lie over a hesitant truth. That's why they made you the villain so easily. They were loud, sure of themselves, and calculated. But now, that confidence has turned into panic. Their smirks are gone. And why? Because someone on the inside finally stepped forward. Not just any witness, but someone who knew every detail and decided to flip the table completely. They were part of the game, and yet they chose to blow it up. And chosen one, before we go further, remember, it's all of our job to make sure messages like this reach more people. By just hitting like or sharing, you help spread what matters. You've always been more than just a watcher. You've been part of the force that moves this mission forward. Now, here's what really went down. You were falsely accused. They twisted your words, set traps, made group chats behind your back, and even staged scenes to make you look like the problem. It was all planned from the start. A performance to ruin your name while they played the victim. They knew most people wouldn't question a loud voice, and they counted on that. But they forgot. Truth doesn't sleep. When that high-level whistleblower came forward, everything flipped. This wasn't some outsider. This was someone who had been part of it. Someone who carried the weight of guilt long enough to finally break. And when they did, they didn't come quietly. They dropped everything. Names, dates, screenshots, recordings. The lies didn't just crumble, they burned. Those who tried to take you down aren't just embarrassed now, they're scared. Their attacks weren't accidents. They were carefully aimed shots. And now, the people who laughed at your pain are hoping no one looks too closely at their own hands. There's something powerful about justice that doesn't need to be shouted. You didn't plead for anyone to believe you. You stayed still and let the universe do the heavy lifting. That's what it means to be chosen. You don't chase attention. The truth naturally comes to you because your life aligns with it. You've lived with integrity even when no one was looking, especially then. And chosen one, let's not forget how it felt when the rooms went quiet and people avoided you. When every conversation made you wonder what you could have said differently. But look now, the ones who accused you can't even show their faces. They used to laugh together in private chats, now they avoid them like they're dangerous. The same doors they pushed you out of, they now run from themselves. That's what happens when lies die in daylight. Understand this, people like that see you as a threat not because you're loud, but because you're real. Your honesty made their games obvious. Your calm made their chaos stand out. When they can't touch your character, they go after your reputation. But here's the thing, reputation is just what strangers think. Character is what the universe knows, and the universe always balances the scales. You didn't need to get revenge. You didn't need to defend yourself. You just needed time, because lies are fast, but truth lasts. And now that the whistleblower has spoken, the story has flipped. The same mouths that once cursed you are now begging people to believe there's more to the story. But the harm they tried to throw your way is circling back, hitting them harder than they ever expected. This is a reminder, what's hidden always comes out when you live in truth. Even when no one's cheering for you, the universe is clapping, and the sound of that is impossible to ignore. So keep walking tall, let them keep talking. Behind the scenes, the truth already cleared your name. In the open, their lies are falling apart. What was once their inside joke is now their public embarrassment, and all you had to do was keep going. This is the start of your redemption arc, chosen one. And it's far from over. They built a whole lie around you, and now they're suffocating on the truth. They wrote your downfall like a play, But they forgot one thing. You weren't their actor. You were the proof. They sat around trading lies like poker chips, creating a version of you that never existed. They did it to feel in control, to stay important, to hide the mess in their own lives. And for a while, it worked. They fooled people. They wore their masks so well, even the audience clapped. They set traps, planted rumors like explosives waiting to go off. And when you didn't step on them, they twisted your silence into guilt, your absence into admission, your strength into arrogance. But here's where they lost. Truth doesn't stay buried. It eats away at lies like acid. And then, someone from their own side couldn't carry the guilt any longer. Every laugh about framing you, every moment they saw you still standing, made their conscience louder, until it broke. And when it broke, it wasn't quiet, it was explosive. People ask, why would they go so far to ruin you? It's simple. Your light exposed their shadows. Your honesty made their tricks look pathetic. They knew that if you kept moving forward, people would start asking questions. So they twisted the story before it could twist back on them. They made you the villain. But proof always survives. The universe keeps its own records. And now the deleted messages, the hidden timelines, the fake evidence, they've all come back, raw and undeniable. They didn't just lie. They built your destruction piece by piece, like it was a group project. Private conversations, false reports, missing files. They pushed and pushed, hoping you'd crack. But you didn't. You absorbed the blows. You didn't get dirty. You let the dirt rise on its own. And when it did, everyone saw where it came from. Now the tables have flipped so fast it's left them dizzy. Their support has vanished. Their stories are falling apart like wet paper, because nothing holds when it's built on lies. When that whistleblower spoke up, they didn't just lift a curtain. They tore it down and exposed the whole set. Every fake prop, every rehearsed tear. And here's the question they hate. Why did it take a whistleblower? Because the universe moves truth through the least expected routes. The one they thought would never betray them couldn't carry the weight anymore. That's how karma works. It doesn't need revenge. It just waits. You never needed to defend yourself. They wanted you to feel like silence meant weakness. But now the evidence is screaming louder than any of their gossip ever could. Their words were smoke. The truth is fire. They were careful, calculated. But the moment you attack someone walking in truth, the universe takes it personally. They bet everything on you breaking down. They planned your humiliation like an event. But they weren't ready for full exposure. Screenshots, recordings, testimonies, every detail right there in the open. Not vague, but exact. Their lies were complicated. The truth was simple. And now they're quiet, not out of shame, but fear. Fear that the people they once fooled are rereading everything, seeing it for what it really was. They thought they could outthink truth. They thought timing was in their control, but they couldn't stop what was coming. And you didn't have to go low to win. You didn't have to beg, yell, or prove anything. You just stood still and let the dust settle. And when it did, everyone saw who really caused the mess. So take this in, chosen one. Never apologize for the storm you become when someone lies about you. Let their betrayal fuel your next move. Let their lies be the path to your rise. Because now, they have nothing left to say. The evidence speaks for you. The whistleblower confirms it. The silence from the crowd isn't peace, it's shame. And you, the one they tried to erase, are now impossible to erase. Their web of lies is collapsing, trapping them inside. Lies always have an expiration date. Truth comes like a final notice. They thought they were untouchable. They thought their web was too tight to escape. But now, every hidden detail, emails, transfers, group chats, is resurfacing, and it's louder than any excuse they can make. They believed they buried everything. But the past doesn't stay buried when it's soaked in betrayal. Imagine being back in the room where they once whispered lies about you. And now, it's silent. Their phones buzzing with messages being reread, screenshots being passed around. Each buzz another crack in their false image. They're not rushing to fix it. They're frozen, caught in the middle of their own story falling apart. They thought they'd walk away clean, but the trail they left has become the rope tightening around their reputations. The truth doesn't need to shout, it just arrives and it takes over. They laughed at your silence, didn't they? They celebrated when someone else turned on you. They wore your pain like a trophy. But lies are heavy. Eventually, even the best liars crumble under them. They just didn't think it would happen in front of you. Some will claim they didn't mean harm, that they didn't know the full truth. But pretending not to know doesn't erase the damage. They stood by while it happened, and now they're choking on their part in it. Guilt follows even in the dark. You saw the shift. It wasn't dramatic, it was quiet. One of them glances at a phone, their face pale. Another clears their throat too much. Someone steps outside suddenly. They're not hiding from you, they're hiding from themselves. And now, every lie they told is laid out like evidence at trial. Their fake concern, their staged victimhood, it's all visible now. They can't hide behind charm anymore. They can't repair the mask. It's melting under the heat of reality. The truth has cleared your name and stained theirs. They thought being louder meant being right. They thought popularity was protection. But the universe doesn't care about numbers. It cares about balance. Some will try to rewrite their roles now. I wasn't really involved or I didn't know everything. But silence is a choice. Every person who watched and said nothing is part of it. Let them panic. Let them face the weight of it. Now they walk into their circles and everyone's looking differently. The lie didn't just break their image. It cracked the ground under them. They can't speak without people wondering if it's fake again. Their alliance is gone. Their respect worth nothing. Because when someone you trusted is revealed as the architect of a lie, it changes everything. You don't bounce back from that easily. Some won't recover at all. They didn't just lie on you, they tried to erase who you are. But truth came back with a pen and crossed out every false word. And now, you're not seeking revenge. You're not chasing their downfall. You're moving forward, and that alone is enough. Because nothing scares a liar more than seeing the one they tried to destroy still here, still strong, and surrounded by undeniable proof. This is justice, not fireworks or applause, but silence where their lies used to be. And the slow, heavy realization that everyone knows you were right all along. You don't have to say, "I told you so." Your very existence proves it. Your peace is the payback. Your strength is the sentence. Keep walking tall. Let them sit in the ruins of what they tried to burn you with. Because when betrayal falls apart, truth is the only thing left standing, and it's on your side. They fed on the lie because it gave them life. They didn't just accept it, they clung to it, savored it, because if you weren't guilty, they'd have to face the truth about themselves. The idea that you were at fault was their shield, their excuse to look down on you, to feel superior without ever earning it. That's the sick part, chosen one. It wasn't a misunderstanding, it was sport. Your silence was the punchline they shared in their little circles. Your pain was fuel for their private chats, their smug grins, and their self-satisfaction. But now the truth is standing over them, steady, cold, and undeniable. And suddenly there's nothing left to laugh about. Imagine someone building a cage just for you, piece by piece, convinced you'll never get out. Then the door swings open, and it's them locked inside. That's what this moment is. The truth didn't just free you, it chained them. The weight of that reality is crushing, and you saw it the moment the evidence surfaced. Shoulders drooping, eyes darting, hands fidgeting like cornered prey. They weren't ready for the universe to respond. They thought they were in control, but the truth shines like a spotlight, and nothing burns a liar faster than exposure. They once stood tall as self-appointed judges, passing sentences in whispers and rumors. Now, every word they used against you is stuck in their own throat. The truth didn't simply clear your name. It screamed they were wrong, deeply wrong. Wrong for questioning your integrity, wrong for staying silent while you were dragged through the mud, and worst of all, wrong for wanting you to be the villain. Yes, they wanted that role filled. That's what they'll never admit out loud. It wasn't about facts. It was about comfort. It was easier to turn you into a problem than to admit your presence unsettled them. You weren't predictable. You couldn't be manipulated, so they painted over you with shadows, thinking it would make them feel safe. But now those same shadows are wrapping around them. You don't have to say a thing, just existing, still standing, rattles them. They can't unhear the truth. They can't undo their silence. And worst of all, they know you haven't forgotten. That's why the air shifts when you enter the room, why they avoid your eyes. Nothing is heavier than the knowledge that you betrayed someone who never deserved it, only to watch them rise higher than before. They never cried for you when you were breaking, but now they want sympathy because they've stained themselves. You never asked for their tears. You don't need their guilt-soaked apologies, their shaky words dressed up as regret. You never waited for them to change because deep down you knew anyone who found joy in your pain could never truly grieve for your suffering. And yet here they are, unraveling. It doesn't happen in an explosion. It starts small, a crack in the mask, a jaw that clenches too tightly, a smile that stops at the mouth. Their confidence, their pride, their arrogance, the armor they wore while declaring you the problem, is falling apart under the weight of exposure. The same people who watched you struggle without blinking are now choking on the very guilt they used to mock. Make no mistake, they're not breaking because they care about what they did to you. They're breaking because they were caught. Their shame isn't born from justice, but from the fear of everyone else seeing who they really are. It's that moment when the mirror stops lying, when it shows the truth they've been avoiding. They weren't the victim. They weren't the hero. They were the betrayer. Picture someone watching you suffer with amusement, certain you'll never rise again, and then suddenly they're the ones under the lights. Their every move projected for the world to see. You're no longer the spectacle. They are. And each tear they shed is not for your healing, but for their own humiliation. You might wonder if you should forgive now that they're sorry, but are they truly sorry or just caught? Real remorse shows up before the crowd turns, not after. Real regret doesn't come with excuses or sudden memory loss. Yet here they are, rewriting their parts in the story. I didn't mean it like that. I wasn't really involved. But you remember. You remember the smirks, the averted glances, the way your silence made them bolder, the way they treated your isolation as entertainment. They bet against you surviving, and now they're the ones gasping for air. Let them. You never needed their tears, and you never will. They didn't confess out of conscience. They confessed because the truth spoke first. That moment they swore would never happen has arrived. The silence they used to weaponize against you has turned into their own voice cracking under pressure. I don't know why I did it. I just went along with everyone else. And just like that, every calculated smirk, every whispered lie, every fake gesture falls apart. But don't be fooled. They're not crushed by what they did to you. They're crushed by the loss of the story they told themselves about who they are. They wanted to be the good one, the fair one, the one in control. Now the mirror is showing them the truth. They were the villain in your story, and worse, in their own. Picture someone committing the act, soaking up the approval, and then collapsing when the truth strips away their cover. Not because they regret the harm, but because they can't keep pretending they're innocent. That's what's happening now. A performance dissolving under the weight of reality. They weren't leaders, they weren't independent thinkers. They followed the scent of gossip and fear. Instead of questioning the lies, they sharpened them. Instead of standing for what was right, they hid behind the deception because it made them feel powerful. They thought they'd erase the trail, but whispers fade and paper lasts. The universe holds its moment, and when it comes without mercy. And here it is, emails, recordings, messages stamped with their names. Time marked like gravestones, each one an unshakable reminder of what they did. It's not just your truth rising, it's their mask falling, piece by piece. No more denials, no more spinning the story, no more cover to hide under. Everything they've done is staring back at them, written in black and white. Now they're looking down, fidgeting, their breath caught in their throat. They have nothing left to say. You don't have to speak. The truth is louder than both of you combined, and it can't be taken back. The puppet master's disguise has been ripped away. They played the strings well until they tightened around their own neck. They walked around like they owned the chaos, smug and confident that their role in your downfall would never surface. They thought they were untouchable, but that one overlooked piece of evidence, the message they buried, the thread they thought was gone, was enough to end the act. That single detail didn't just show the lie, it revealed the one who built it. The loudest voices in the crowd were never the source. They were echoes of the real manipulator. You always sensed it, the ringleader behind the curtain, the one who didn't just dislike you but feared you, the one who knew that if you kept rising, it would shine a light on everything they lacked. They didn't want to destroy you for what you'd done. They wanted to destroy you for what you were becoming. And now, in a single moment, their name is tied to every move, every whisper, every betrayal. Picture it, a room full of people pretending innocence until one piece of proof connects every thread to the person no one suspected, the one who smiled in your face while pulling strings behind your back, the mastermind who never thought their hidden plans would be dragged into the open. But now they are, and the fear is written all over them. The silence that follows isn't calm. It's the sound of power leaving the room. Their voice, once dripping with false confidence, is a faint echo now. The truth sits heavy on the table, unshaken, unafraid, delivering its own verdict without your help. They lit the fire, and now they're trapped in the aftermath. And here's the twist. They thought they were running the game, but they were just another piece moved around by someone else's strategy. Now the curtain's gone, the set is bare, and the only thing left is the panic written on their faces. You see them looking around, desperate for someone to fix it, but there's no script left to read from. There's nothing to hide behind. They thought they were warriors for some cause, but they weren't soldiers. They were pawns, carrying out orders for a leader who never valued them. The mastermind didn't protect them, didn't care about them. They were tools, discarded the moment they outlived their use. The hardest truth for them to swallow is that they destroyed someone's name for a cause that never included them in the first place. Now look who's still standing. Not them, not the person in the shadows, but you, the one they tried to erase. You're not scrambling, you're not shaking, you're not gasping for excuses. You're steady because while they built on deceit, you stayed grounded in something they could never touch. Truth. The same crowd that once turned on you is now facing the same kind of exposure. The screenshots, the voice notes, the proof. It's all out in the open now. These aren't whispers anymore, they're blasts, impossible to ignore. They can't undo it. They can't outrun it. They can't clarify their way out of it. The sequence is complete. The dominoes have fallen. And each betrayal you endured is mapped, labeled, and tied together. They thought numbers could overpower truth. They thought if enough people agreed, reality would bend. But truth doesn't take votes. It doesn't need an audience. It waits, and then it strikes. And now, the same lie that gave them influence is the same lie that will bury them. The fight is over. Not because you played their game, not because you begged for justice, but because truth, patient and deliberate, finally took its step forward. And when it did, it didn't ask permission, didn't knock politely. It came in, tore off the covers, and left them to face what they've done. You've already survived the battle. Now they have to survive the truth. They tried to bury you under their lies, but now they're the ones trapped beneath the weight of their own stories. And you never even had to lift a hand. It's unfolding right in front of them, with no way out. The downfall they swore would never happen is crushing them instead of you. They're scrambling in panic, pointing fingers at each other, twisting reality, rewriting their parts in a script that's already finished and documented. But it's far too late. Every false word, every betrayal, every accusation is now locked in place with their name right beside it. You didn't have to pull the curtain back. They did it to themselves. Picture yourself standing at the edge of the very pit they dug for you, watching as they stumble into it. One tries to claw out by blaming someone else. Another pretends they didn't know what was happening. Some stay silent, others fake regret. But nothing works. The pit belongs to them, and so does the fall. You stand there steady, calm, certain, as the truth does what it always does. Arrives without asking permission and clears the air without saying a single word. They never really knew you. They only knew a distorted version, one sculpted from whispers and tinted with someone else's envy, handed to them like fact. They didn't question it because believing the lie was easier. Taking sides against you made them feel powerful. Watching you stumble gave them satisfaction. They weren't confused. They weren't misled. They were entertained by the idea of your fall. And now the curtain has dropped, the set is destroyed, and they're the ones left exposed while you, the one they tried to silence, stand untouched. The truth is speaking louder than anything they could say. The same mouths that once spoke against you now struggle to form weak defenses. I don't know the whole story. I always liked them. I stayed out of it. All lies. You can hear the unsteadiness in their voices when they mention you now. Not respect, but fear. Fear of being seen for who they were. Fear of being remembered for what they did. Fear of being held to account by the very person they once labeled a problem. And you don't need their apologies. You never did. That's what eats them alive at night. The realization that the approval they thought you craved doesn't matter to you anymore. You've outgrown them. Outgrown the weight they tried to put on your name. You didn't chase validation. You became living proof of your own worth. Now they have to live knowing you kept rising while they collapsed under the weight of the lies they created. They once watched you burn without lifting a finger. Now they're forced to watch you rise and remember the silence they chose when they could have spoken. For the first time, they see you as you really are. Not the version they whispered about, not the scapegoat they clung to, but as someone they can't touch or control. You walked straight through the fire they lit, and you didn't just survive. You emerged with the flames behind you and the truth standing beside you. They thought they had destroyed you, but all they really did was set the stage for your return. The same people who found joy in your lowest point are now silent witnesses to your rise. The ones who once clapped for your downfall now choke on their own passivity. And that terrifies them. Because what does a person do when the one they quietly betrayed becomes living proof of their own cowardice? Vindication doesn't need to be loud. It's in the heavy quiet that falls when truth walks into a room full of liars. They carry the shame now, not you. They remember every smirk, every lie, every time they chose to stay quiet. You remember something else entirely. The strength it took to stand alone when the world turned its back. The resilience it took not to crumble when every door shut in your face. When every false story spread like wildfire. And here's what cuts deepest for them. You never needed them. You didn't beg for understanding. You didn't plead for them to believe you. You stood your ground while they scattered like shadows at first light. Now they know they weren't just bystanders. They were part of the harm. That silence they chose is now a cage they can't get out of. They try to convince themselves they weren't part of it. I didn't want to get involved. I wasn't as bad as the others, but deep down they know silence is its own betrayal. They stayed quiet because they were afraid. Afraid to be cast out. Afraid to stand up. Afraid of being a target if they defended you. But you didn't need a crowd. You didn't need applause. You stood alone when the room was built on fiction. That's the difference they'll never forget. Because your rise isn't just your win. It's a reflection they can't stand to look at. It shows them exactly who they failed to be when it mattered most. Now they want to make things right. You can hear it in their softer voices, in the way they speak your name like it's too heavy to carry. Suddenly they're careful. Suddenly they're human, but you remember when they weren't. They want to explain why they stayed silent, why they didn't defend you, but silence is still a choice, and you remember exactly who looked away when the blows were landing. You remember the cold stares, the smirks, the fake concern. They could have spoken. They didn't. Not because they didn't know better, but because it was easier not to. And now the same people who smiled at your pain avoid your eyes when you pass by. Some pretend you're invisible. Others overcompensate, staring a moment too long, unsure if they're allowed to acknowledge you. And a few act as though none of it ever happened, hoping you'll do the same. But regret whispers differently when it's mixed with shame. Your name, once dragged through dirt, is now spoken with hesitation. They're unsure how to fix what they helped break. Deep down, they know they weren't just absent, they took part. Even if they never threw the first blow, they stood there and let it land. And here's what they can't stand: you don't need them anymore. You're not waiting for closure. You're not hoping for an apology. You've grown beyond the place where they abandoned you, and now they're left wondering where they stand. Should they apologize? Should they pretend nothing happened? Should they try to explain? None of it matters, because you saw them. And now that the truth is out, they know you saw them too. No amount of late regret can undo the choice they made to be silent when your name was a target. Some doors stay closed, not out of spite, but because reopening them would only let the damage back in. They thought your fall was permanent. They toasted to it, convinced they'd seen the last of you. But the only thing that stayed down was their own character. They believed they'd won. They believed smearing you would make their version of events the only one that mattered. And when you stayed silent, they mistook it for defeat. What they didn't realize was that your silence wasn't surrender, it was strategy. You were watching, letting them stack one lie on top of another, building a trap without realizing it. They laughed when you suffered. They felt powerful when you were shut out. They celebrated your absence as if they had erased you entirely. But now the power they once felt has turned into poison. Guilt doesn't come in shouts. It comes in steady, relentless whispers, and it's eating them from the inside out. Picture the loudest voice against you sending a casual message, as if nothing had happened. How have you been? Not because they care, but because they want to know if you've forgotten. But you haven't. You remember every smirk, every twisting of the knife, every time they hid behind silence or clapped along with the crowd. The same hand that tried to bury you now wants to shake yours, but you can feel the tremble in it. They don't miss you. They miss what you brought into their orbit. They miss the way being connected to you could lift them up. They see your power returning, your voice clear again, your space reclaimed, and now they want to rewrite history. Pretend they were with you all along. Pretend they weren't in the crowd that cheered when you fell. But you can see the truth behind the polite smiles, the fear hidden in friendly gestures. And then there are the worst of them. The ones who led the attacks, who stirred the rumors, who worked hardest to twist your story. Now they're quiet. Or worse, they're reaching out in hopes your healing has made you too gentle to hold them accountable. But healing doesn't erase memory. Peace doesn't mean giving them a place in your life again. They mistook your silence for weakness, but it was growth. They thought they'd won. Now they're watching from a distance as you rise beyond their reach, realizing they've lost the one thing they can't replace: your grace. Once that's gone, no apology, no fake connection, no clever excuse can bring it back. They tried to shape your story with dirty hands, molding it from gossip, fear, and their own insecurities. They thought they could confine you, control the narrative, keep you small. But you were never theirs to define. You didn't rise to prove them wrong. You rose to prove yourself right. And in doing so, you shattered every chain they tried to wrap around your name. They expected you to beg for acceptance, to question yourself, to fade away. But you didn't bend. You didn't go chasing after their closure. You didn't need their validation before, and you don't need it now. The day they bet against you was the day they lost the right to walk with you into the future, now that you've stepped fully into who you were. Meant to be, they can't even recognize you, and that's the point. You've grown beyond the limits they tried to place on you. Let them watch. Let them regret. Let them sit in the wreckage of their choices. You're not going back. Not for their guilt, not for their apologies, not for their comfort. You are untouchable. You are undeniable, and your rise, it was never going to be stopped. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.